Hello, you guys. Let me turn that off. I still haven't uploaded it to my computer because I'm still messing with it. Hey, Muffy, Leo girl. Hey, Shar. Good to see you. Ava, Jay, allegedly, Princess Megan, Elsa. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Without Borders. Hey, SoFlo Mama. Julie. Hey, Christy Fox, Eris, Steph B. I think I said hi already, but hi again, allegedly. Okay. Shay Benet, Luana, TS, Loose Investigates. How are you guys? Holy wow. Today has been a day. How weird to even just see this like creature, I'll call him. No, I mean innocent until proven guilty. I understand that, but he just gives me the freaking creeps, you guys. Hey, Cynthia. Oh, thank you, Big Papa. Oh, now we have a Big Papa. Isn't that the name that they were? No, it isn't. I'm sorry. I don't know my brain, y'all. Fiddle DD, how are you guys? Evil. I know, it's crazy. So let's get right into it. I have so many things to go through. I had a couple things before we even had the court and stuff today. And then there was a press conference, and I found a couple people on TikTok, other people that knew him. One young lady that has a really interesting story I haven't actually seen yet, but I haven't watched a ton today, but I haven't seen this anywhere else. And I also had a girl come into my comments under TikTok, right? And she's like, so I post the video, this picture, right there, like on my TikTok on a quick video. And she, in the comments underneath, she was like, that's exactly how he looked in high school. And, because then the video, I'm like, oh, he just gives me the creeps. And yeah, and I was like, wait, did you go to school with him? And she's like, yeah. So I don't know. I asked her, can I message you? I don't know if she's going to be cool with it. I just like want to ask a couple little things. But hey, Lady V. Yeah, let's see. So what do you guys think? Have you been watching all day? Yeah, let me see. Let me get to my Bryan Enton. They just did a really great update, and I want to start with that because it's kind of like everything that happened summed up really nicely. Hold on just a second. Sorry, Bentley's running through here. Let's see. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm always in everyone's chat when I'm not working. No. I'm sorry. You haven't. I got your name confused. That's all. I actually remember you from other chats from seeing you before, but yeah, I'm sorry. Let me see. The Idaho suspect appears in court. That's the link we're going to click first. Okay. Sorry. I just got thrown off a little bit. Bentley came out here and started. I thought he was crying, but he was not crying. Hey, LFT. Bryan K. Stare of death. I mean, imagine that in your room at 3 a.m. That's what's horrifying. Somebody said that in my comments under TikTok, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, that's so sad because that's what, like, imagine what they had to witness in their last moments. It's awful.
Rosie, and I love her, but she won't eat her food. Every time I give her that generic kibble, she won't eat it.
Okay.
The Idaho
Here we
murders
go,
case.
you guys.
We're getting our very first look. This is Bryan Kohberger, the accused killer of 4 college students, as he made his way into a Pennsylvania courtroom. He waived his extradition.
I know, Julie. We
here.
are going to talk about that too.
To Idaho, sometime in the course of the next several days. It could be as soon as tonight, and we could learn even more about what happened inside that house in Moscow. Kohberger was, of course, arrested on Friday. News Nation has learned he was a PhD student at a nearby university studying.
He just glanced for just a second. I have to pause for fair use. I know that can be frustrating, but this is a lot of this stuff you guys have already seen, and we're just here to chat about it. But this video, the coloring is so bad because I'm outside, but I like to be on camera, with you guys. But anyways, this video sums up multiple things, and there is a very good point here made about the stop home. So that's why I wanted to start with this, and we will go look at some of the body cam stuff, some of the screenshots. But first, I want to get through this.
Criminology. Let's bring in now senior national correspondent Bryan Entin. Bryan, you are there in Pennsylvania with some brand new video.
Yeah, we are, Nicole. We're going to talk about the extradition that's about to happen with Bryan Kohberger in a second. But first, we want to get to some video that News Nation has just obtained within the last 5 minutes or so. If you've been following the story, you know we got information that Kohberger, when he was driving to Pennsylvania here from Washington State, that he drove through Indiana with his dad and that he was pulled over by the police. Well, take a look at this. We just got this body camera video into News Nation.
There's that car that everyone and their mama was looking for. Now, I really do wonder, you have to, I mean, especially if you're law enforcement, but anybody and everybody has heard about this case, right? It has been, there are hundreds of thousands of TikToks made on the case. Like there were hundreds of thousands 2 weeks ago. So I do have to wonder about whoever pulled them over, and they're going to get into who pulled them over. I'm not so sure it was the police both times, and you're going to hear that. But how do they pull them over and not think, this car's from Washington and it's a white Elantra? I do know they had the year wrong, but I don't know. And I mean, remember all the time we were talking about the year and what a difference it makes, because they don't look exactly alike. You know what I mean? There's a reason that they said a specific year. They are slightly different. Guidance, yes. I believe, in my opinion, I think that one of the times, and you guys will hear it in just a sec, Bryan Entin, it's actually something that Bryan says in the body cam, but Bryan Entin comments on it. So let's listen.
Of that traffic stop, you can see Bryan Kohberger's dad right there in the passenger seat. And
one last thing, look at his face. Tell me in the comments, like, I got to know what you guys think is he feeling in this moment. Is he scared? Is he angry? Is he cocky? Is he annoyed? What do you think he's feeling?
Is Bryan Kohberger driving the white Hyundai Elantra through Indiana on his way back here to Pennsylvania. It's interesting. We slow down the video. It's hard to hear what's being said because it's so loud with those cars going by in the background. But we know that he was pulled over for speeding. The cop at one point sort of made a joke saying, gosh, lie. I mean, this is such a long drive from Idaho, from Washington State to Pennsylvania. And then something else interesting, Nicole. Bryan Kohberger spoke about being stopped again in Indiana by an SUV, and the police officer sort of makes reference, oh, we don't have SUVs. This could all become very, very important if we find out that Kohberger was actually being tracked.
So Bryan, like he said, he mentions being stopped again, another time by an SUV, and the officer said, we don't have SUVs. Now, I don't know. I think that people are going to be shocked at the pile of evidence they have on him. The digital forensic alone will be epic, in my opinion. I can't wait to hear. You guys say pissed. He looks psychotic, psycho. Is that a wound on his arm? He's so disgusting looking. I think they were giving him a slight tease, getting pulled over and letting him go. Seems confused, very bad vibes, annoyed, about to lose his shit. He looks pissed, angry, shocked, seriously angry. Yeah, Jeff H. Thank you so much, Jeff. Cop, that's a long haul. Y'all afraid of flying? Hey, Amber. He looks terrified. Why would he do this to begin with if he was terrified of getting caught? Secret cameras everywhere these days. Yes, they are. They really are. Glenjamin, good to see you. Hey, Catherine. Moscow and the FBI should have put out a nationwide APB for the car. I think he looks irritated, like he smells something fishy. Well, you have to wonder, if he was being followed, did he ever see that, or was he thinking, was that in his brain? You know, you would think that it might be, but then again, was he so cocky that, I don't know. Hey, JC. Oh, thank you, Princess Megan Elsa. The ISP has unmarked and marked. No SUVs that I have seen. Idaho's, Indiana State Police, I'm sorry. Different state he was pulled over before, different cop cars. I feel bad for his family too, and they're going to talk about that in a moment as well. And I think that I will pull up Twitter because I want to. What did I do? Oops. I want to see from other people who were in the courtroom, other reporters, and I bet you there's going to be some tweets. So let's keep listening for a moment, and I'll grab that.
During this drive from Washington State back here to Pennsylvania. We're looking into this video very, very closely. Again, we just got it. Okay, let's move on to what happened in court within the last couple of hours here in Pennsylvania. Kohberger in court for the first time here. He officially waived his extradition hearing. We saw him go into the courthouse. It was our first time seeing him. It was a somewhat routine hearing inside. The judge read him his rights, made sure that this is really what he wanted to do, that he wanted to waive his extradition hearing and get right back to Idaho. And he said yes. He was pretty much stone cold throughout the hearing. When he walked into the courtroom, he glanced over at his family. His parents were there along with his two sisters sitting right in the front row, right in front of us where we were sitting, the media. He looked at his parents and his mom started crying. His sister started crying. It was a very emotional moment for the family.
So there you go. I saw people asking. He does have two sisters. They were there, and mom, his family was there, and they were all emotional. I feel for the family too. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens because I don't know what their stance is going to be. And really, I mean, God, imagine I don't know. They didn't do this. So I hate it. It happens all the time, though. We will see these people who commit these crimes, their parents get a lot of shit. They really do. And it's just part of it, whether they deserve it or not. Sometimes they do, like Bryan Laundrie. Sometimes they don't so much. They like Cindy Watts. Like, she's maybe a little odd and stuff, but she didn't do it. She loved her grandkids. I mean, she got a lot of hell because, I don't know. The internet, people are cruel and judgmental, and they remember everything, and nothing is ever completely gone from the internet. Once it's out there, it's out there. And
a deputy actually brought them tissues. When will the extradition happen? That is the big question. We thought perhaps he would go right to Idaho from the courthouse. That didn't happen. He was taken back to the jail here in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, where he is right now. But we're told the extradition will be happening soon, likely within the next couple of days. Listen to what the district attorney just said here in Pennsylvania.
Does not release their probable cause affidavit in support of their arrest warrant until after their defendant is returned to that state. But having read those documents and the sealed affidavits of probable cause, I definitely believe that one of the main reasons the defendant chose to waive extradition and hurry his return back to Idaho was to need to know what was in those documents.
That right there is such an interesting statement to me. It really, I don't know, because of course you want to know what you're being accused of, what they have against you. That's a given. But the way he said it, having read those documents, like there's something specific in there. There's something specific about his nature of being like super meticulous or careful. I don't know. I don't actually know. But I found that to be such a interesting way to say that. Did you guys feel that way, or am I crazy? Hey, criminality. So much pain. Hope this is a first step towards closure. Me too. It's awful. And I agree. I think his family are victims too. They would never want this. Look at them. They're sitting there sobbing, crying in court. If you listen to, if you trust, and I do, to the court reporter, which was Bryan Enton. So, hey, Delaney. Just FYI, his sister Amanda was in a movie. The trailer is on YouTube and starred in Going In 2 days back in Lonesome. Interesting. Hey, Margot, he studied this. He's going to want to know what those documents say. I am going to be so interested to see this court process play out. Just because you would think, having studied it, this guy is not for one, a lot of cops and detectives never go to school for this. Then you have just people get associates, bachelors, masters. He's going for his doctorate. He should know that it's, not a lot of people are getting away with these kind of crimes these days. So that to me is so interesting, especially when you hear about other people talking. The teacher who he did that, his, final thesis, like his last class, I think at DeSales, possibly, the teacher who just spoke out about the study, she said that he was her best student. I'm sorry, but my kids know that I would turn them in if they did anything illegally. I would make my kids understand that they have to turn themselves in. When you do something, you have to pay for the consequences. That's just part of life. It is what it is. So, and I do truly believe that your happiness in life is based on what kind of choices you make. That's just the truth. Oh, thank you, Jules J. Thank you. Though people who knew them said the father was a really strange guy. Yes. Oh my God. I loved Teresa. So your second live I didn't see but a minute of, but the first one I was in quite a bit, and I got ready listening to it and stuff. And so she had crime scene cleaners on, and they talked about like just in general stuff, but then they talked about like in reference to this case, kind of what they would do, what they would expect. It's so good. If you guys haven't seen it, you have to go check that out. A horrible monster causes their mother tears of heartbreak. Yep, absolutely. Shame on him. I think he had accomplices as an info and how to get in. Why in the world did he give a shit about the dog? Maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know why. I was talking to my dad today. My dad is not like a true crime person, but it's on mainstream media and he's seen it on the news and he knows like details from me. So when we were out going grocery shopping and stuff earlier, I was like, why do you think, like, because this is what baffles me. Why them? I need to know, number one, why them? Number two, why not the other two? What happened? Because it's like he lives in a college town. If this was just any random, and maybe that was the point, to not be too close. But if this was just any random crime, there's plenty of other, places probably at the college he goes to. So I personally don't think it's random, because it just seems like, maybe it is, and he wanted to be in a different town. I don't know, but that is bothering me. Like, that's a question I cannot wait for that either. I can't wait to cover this trial. Hopefully it comes soon. I think that he will try to invoke his rights to a speedy trial. I really do. It wore me out. Hey, boo-boo kitty. I've heard the details will cause nightmares for many people. WSU was paying him to be a PhD and teach. I cannot believe he got in, but maybe studying under the expert. Yeah, that could have helped. Agree. Think they have a solid amount of info. Can't wait till they're able to release. There are consequences for actions and inactions. I've always told my kids that. Absolutely. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to just skip forward just a little bit. I believe he was already in the home waiting that night. Cynthia, that's something that I've went over in my own head a couple times too. I'm like, was he watching and waiting for the moment, or was he inside? Because And was he really following them around constantly for a couple weeks? Because, like, I started thinking about this. You guys, think about it in your own life. Think about, like, if somebody was watching you for 2 or 3 weeks, every move you make, but you have no idea, and you're at home, totally comfortable, just, doing whatever, and not trying to hide or keep anything a secret, or hide, what time you go to bed, what time you do this, going outside, for just whatever. And somebody's watching you for weeks. After a certain amount of time, they're going to have a good idea of how you work and what you do, how things go at your house, And now at a college, like at a party house, it's who knows all the time. But I think he planned it before moving to Washington. Hey, Valerie. I think it was random in that he didn't know them personally, but I think they were picked because he wanted it to be shocking. Nobody has had a bad word to say about the victims. That's true. He picked, like, the house on the hill that, everybody, I don't know, just of all these beautiful girls. And hey, Lucy, his professor stated she actually referred BK to Washington for the PhD program. Yeah, she spoke really highly of him. Okay, I'm just going to get back to the video because we have so much to look at. And I could sit here and talk to y'all forever.
So that's a significant development.
Very interesting what the DEA said there. Let me explain it to you, Nicole. Basically, the probable cause affidavit that has all of the information about why Kohberger was arrested, all the evidence that police have, that cannot be released until he is back on the ground in Idaho. Even Kohberger and his attorneys cannot see that document. So they don't even know right now the basic evidence that law enforcement has against Kohberger. So what the DA was saying is essentially he thinks Kohberger wants to get back to Idaho as soon as possible. So his legal team has access to those documents. Nicole?
All right. Wow. Bryan entering with so much new information this afternoon. Thank you for that.
What a good video. That did combine, like, so much different stuff. But let me tell you guys before we move on, please, at nighttime, go, like, at a certain time at night when you're done and you're ready to turn in completely, just walk around and make sure that all your windows are locked and make sure that your door's locked, because this has scared me too. I've been scared. I actually locked myself out, like, more than once because my door locks from the inside. It still turns, you can't tell, and I've been locking and forgetting to unlock it and going outside, and then it's locked, so I can't get back in and I never locked my doors. That's another thing. Like, I'd be such an easy target before this, even though we have weapons and stuff like that. Like, we have I still, because I was just careless. I wouldn't lock my door. I don't know. I think we got to be so much more careful. I know I do, at least. Thank you. You don't know me. I like your name. It's really hard to know what was going through his mind at that very time. Guess we'll wait. The truth will come. Yeah. If Alex Erickson said she was sound alive for 8 hours just to hang out and chat, I bet she'd maintain. Oh, yeah, right. Allegedly. But thank you. What a good compliment. I appreciate that. I'm still surprised anybody wants to listen to me, to be honest. Killer vegan. Be aware of your surroundings. I sent you the original body cam of Indiana pulling BK over. His dad says something about what recently happened at WSU. Need to play with background volume. Okay. Hey, Anonymous. I hope everything's okay. Yep, good. Without borders. I'm happy to hear that because that's scary. Someone close to one of the survivors has communicated with Gray Hughes. He got the info a few weeks ago, but he's only mentioned it now since the arrest has been made. He does animation that ties it up. I like those. Those are really super cool. Pepper spray. There you go. Okay. Let me see what you sent, and I'm going to go ahead and forward it. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. We'll watch that. But, okay. So let me show you guys back to here. Just like the look on their faces. I mean, I can't wait for the people who do have. I did hear this on Teresa. Somebody said like later people will, look closer at everything, zoom in, enhance stuff. I cannot wait for that because, for one, I can't see crap. I have horrible eyesight, but oh, thank you, Boo Boo. You're too sweet. I think he had an issue with someone in the house. Weird to force your dad to fly and then drive back home. Why not fly to PA? Scared he'll be picked up on radar. I don't know. I've wondered that as well. Oh, thank you, Spicy Sugar. That's sweet. What's his motive? He had a normal life and normal friends. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate that so much. Okay, I have a friend of his we're getting ready to listen to in a minute who talks about like her friend dated him, which that surprised me. So Alex 2, that was when the parties were going on. Okay. Let's look at, here is that body cam that you just sent. I don't know what I should go to first, but I really need to do it like this. Okay. That's what we'll start with. We'll go back to the body cam in a second. I'm going to go to here. This is the young lady who knew him and her friend dated him and all that stuff, which is crazy.
So I know a lot of you guys want to know more information on how I knew Bryan. He was the guy that killed those 4 students that attended Idaho University. But yeah, I commented on this video because they were talking about the whole situation. And I said, I knew this guy and it's so crazy that he's done this and things like that. And after that, so many people were viewing my TikTok account. So I think it's appropriate for me to share on how I know this guy. So this guy used to attend the church I would go to on Thursdays. It was a young adults ministry. He would attend, but he wouldn't attend on the regular. Someone invited him, so that's when he started coming. My best friend thought he was cute, so she went up to him and they had a conversation and things went from there. They both started talking a lot, and as they were talking, sometimes he would ask these weird questions. One of the questions he asked was, how would you react if you found out I was a Satanist? I'm not saying I am, but how would you react? Like, what would you think about that? And it just got weird for her. He would tell her that he would jog at 2:00 in the morning in the Poconos. He said he lived near the Poconos. Sometimes he would invite her over to his house, but my best friend's mom would stop her and say, no, you're not going. It got a little too much. This guy will follow her to her job. He will follow her to her home, things like that. It was getting really weird. One time she told me that he went to her job and he had like a robe on and he told one of the people that worked there, oh, tell so-and-so I said hi. So yeah, it just got really creepy for her and she told me about it. At first I didn't see anything wrong with the guy. He looked clean cut, he smelled good. I mean, he just looked all put together, things like that. He didn't seem aggressive or anything like that. Some people did tell me, oh, he's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't trust that guy. There's something off about him. After my best friend told me that stuff about him, then I started suspecting, okay, this is weird. Why would he ask certain questions? Why would he tell certain things to her? So that's how I knew him. And it is not surprising at all what he's done. I mean, it's really, really weird. It sounded so occultic. I wouldn't be surprised if he is in a cult. But yeah, a lot of you guys are curious, so I felt the need to share that. But just certain things that has happened, certain things that it's just still in shock. I mean, my best friend called me yesterday sobbing. She's like, that could have been me. He could have killed me, things like that. And I was just blown away. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. He could have had me too. He could have killed me too. You know what I mean? But I'm just, by the grace of God, I'm thankful to be alive. But justice must be served.
Okay, so yeah, we don't know, some people may pretend that they know him or whatever to get views or attention, but still it's interesting to look at. I don't know. It's kind of crazy because you hear a wide variety of what he was like before, and from him being a bully to being bullied to being kind to being, it's just, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I doubt he's in a cult. He isn't the go with the flow type. I agree. I could see him like maybe being in evil stuff, but not like a group, not in a group, just like by himself. Okay, now there's the conference. The family lawyer. Okay, the family lawyer did this video. So let's go to this. Hold on. Shoot. Y'all, I'm sorry. Oh man, I wanted to go to Amber's thing. I don't know if Amber's still in here, but I believe that she had a picture of him from the vigil. Have you guys seen that? And do you think that that's him? Like, I kind of think it could be. I don't know, though. Maybe I'm crazy because I also thought the guy in the reflection looked like him. And I think that I don't believe it is anymore, in my opinion. But I kind of do now, unfortunately. What makes you guys think that you don't think it's him? Okay. Yes, it was him. I think it's definitely him. I do. Like, I was trying to watch the way he walked because he seemed to walk like with his legs in a funny way. But then today you can't tell because he's wearing handcuffs and the vest, and you like the view is just not, I don't know. I think it's him. I did. Then I saw a clearer picture, not after what MJ showed me. Now we have plenty of side photos to compare. Hairline is a bit different. He has pretty like longish wavy hair. I was surprised. He does like, it seemed like, which I guess his hair could have been grown out a little bit, but here.
Reaction to what happened last Friday with the arrest?
Well, I think everybody was relieved. The family was relieved, and it's long from over. The next, that chapter's kind of closed at least, and then now the next chapter starts. The whole criminal justice process, and so I think everyone had a little bit of relief and was able maybe to sleep at night, and then now it's back to the grind again. So,
did you have any inkling that something was coming?
No, we had no idea. They hadn't released any information, had no heads up about anything. I think I received a call on, it was about 10:30, I think, on Thursday night, and from the Moscow Police Department letting me know that they were in the process of taking someone into custody. They didn't release the name or any of that information to us that night. I immediately.
Wow, it's so interesting. Hold on, let me rewind just for a second.
Called the family and spoke with them. They were obviously, happy. From the Moscow Police Department letting me know that they were in the process. I think I received a call on, it was about 10:30, I think, on Thursday night, and from the Moscow Police Department.
Okay, so they actually notified the family several hours before, right? So 10:30, and they arrested him at like 3 a.m., which it would be East Coast time versus their time. So that wouldn't be as many hours, but I still think it'd be like an hour before. Or, okay, Wolfie, I don't think that's him at the vigil either now. At all. I'm going to send it to myself to show you guys. And I'll show you guys in a second. And I don't think that you're going to think it's him either, but hold on. Here, let's listen for another minute.
Letting me know that they were in the process of taking someone into custody. They didn't release the name or any of that information to us that night. I immediately called the family and spoke with them. They were obviously, happy and relieved to a certain degree. And then I got more information, more details about who the defendant was in the case the next morning. So.
Okay.
I know you're limited in what you can release at this time. Has law enforcement briefed you and the Gonsalves family on what is going to be discussed in the probable cause affidavit?
No. I mean, they don't need to. I mean, they haven't reached out to us to set up a meeting or anything. You know.
Wow, I'm surprised by that, you guys. I actually hadn't listened to this. I saw it. I was busy today, so I just put it in my thing for us to watch together. But, I mean, I guess they probably will notify them hopefully before it comes out, because God forbid they find out some of those details from the news and stuff. I wouldn't think they would let that happen. Okay, let me show you guys the picture that Wolfie just sent me really quick, and then we'll go back to the video because this is just too interesting not to. That's a better picture, a better version of the picture, I guess. So it's not him. No, I know, Alec. That guy, I talked about that yesterday, about the guy with the shoes. You know what? I was surprised. I have like, I did a couple TikToks, but one of them is just like a couple seconds of his photo today, like the more clear version when he came in. And underneath, there was a lot of comments. And, you know, I was surprised because there was a few people who thought they're like, there's no way it's him. They've got the wrong guy. And more than I would have expected. Yeah, this is not him. Now that, like, I've seen this, I hadn't seen this, but crazy. Yeah, definitely not him. That looks like it could be like his dad or something, or yeah, I don't know. His uncle. I don't know. It's just not him. Okay, let me go back to this.
You know, I'm obviously a criminal defense attorney myself and a former prosecutor. So I've explained to them how the process goes and what the hearings might entail and how that's going to be playing out.
Wait a minute. I remember hearing this at the time. I think JLR reported it. Why did they hire a criminal defense attorney? I wonder if it's like a family friend or that's kind of strange, but I guess.
Just kind of take it day by day. You know, everyone thinks that I think that he's going to get back here and he's going to automatically be arraigned on the case, and that's just not what's going to happen. His first appearance will probably be getting an attorney. So get either a court-appointed attorney, or if someone, you know, the family hires an attorney, a privately retained attorney, and then that attorney's going to want a couple days to talk with his client, and then they'll have the preliminary hearing regarding the probable cause for the arrest, and then obviously the Latah County will have to get a grand jury for the indictment, and he can be arraigned on an information prior to the indictment and be held.
Okay, so let me see. Defense attorneys have more resources. Like, that makes sense, I guess. He does look familiar to me as well. If you get your news from him, we're going to need to have a chat. Well, I mean, Lord, don't you know Emily is his sister, and oh my goodness. Even I was starting to question things. I'm like, wait, whoa. Lord. This threw me off. What motive? Hey, Michelle, I'm so happy to see you. Hey, Alex, so happy you're alive, babe. So happy to see you in here. I don't think you'll have a bond. I mean, Lori Vallow and Chad, they got like a bond, but Idaho may give him a bond, but they're going to make it so high. That's how I was surprised they gave Lori and Chad one. Think about their crimes. It was very gruesome, multiple people, you know, children dismembered and everything. And they actually were given a bond, but it was really high. So I think if they do, it's not going to be anything that he can do.
On that, and then, so I mean, there's a lot of moving process things that are going on that aren't going to happen immediately on the case. So
But as far as whatever's in that affidavit, I would assume the family would want to know before the public.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, we'd like to see it. They're not going to release it to us. I mean, I've asked for it right now, and they've not released it to us.
I don't
They're
know, Meep.
stating in Idaho state law that they can't release it until after the arraignment. And so we're honoring that. But you know, I'm just as anxious, and the family is just as anxious to see the probable cause affidavit as everyone else is.
Oh my God, that is so.
It's a good probable cause affidavit. It's not going to detail everything that's in part of the investigation, but it will give a good basis about what possible.
Right. So the probable cause affidavit, they just will show like enough to prove that they have good reason to charge him and hold him, but they won't give, they definitely won't give anything away that happened, that they found at his apartment and that kind of stuff. They're just going to show kind of why they decided to move on the arrest.
Evidence they have that connects the defendant in this case to the crime. So, and then, maybe, they can ask, I mean, I think that the real thing is that, the community being involved and knowing and offering up additional details about any connections or anything like that. So,
yeah, I would hope they would get that information before it's released publicly. I understand state law and everything. I saw Steve, you and Steve, I think on an ABC News interview where Steve alluded to the fact that he and the family do not know this Bryan Kohberger, but they were seeing connections or possible connections.
Yeah, I can speak to that. I mean, basically, that interview, it wasn't basically set out the way it should have been, but it was, now that we have a name and we have a person, the family, all the families are going to be looking for connections between all of the victims. So, and if we find any connections between Kaylee or Maddie or Ethan or Xana or any of those, the victims in the case, we'll be relaying all of that information over to the Moscow Police Department. And we're going to allow the Moscow Police Department to determine if they release any information regarding those connections.
That was a kind of funny way to say that. Almost like maybe they have found connections, but they're not going to release it. Latah County Chief Public Defender Ann Taylor is who I read will be his defense attorney in Idaho. Also read that his defense team took a tour of the crime scene earlier today. Wow. We are going to go look at Twitter and see what local reporters have tweeted in just a second. But I did think this video was worth a watch because the family attorney, I don't know how often the family will be speaking out, these days.
And I think the Moscow Police Department is really asking from the public, now that there's a face and a name, that get as much information as you can to us about this guy, right? About his habits, things that he was doing, all that stuff, still asking for community help. So
at this point in time, Steve and Christy Gonsalves and the rest of the family haven't seen it. They don't know that Kaylee knew this guy or any of the other girls or victims.
I have any information that they knew any guy. I mean, I don't think he wasn't on any of the family's radar. I don't believe. So.
Yeah, I don't think he was on anyone but law enforcement's radar. I mean,
how many times did people say that? Like when he's caught, I heard so many different creators, friends of mine, some of you guys in chat as well, say it's going to be somebody that nobody was on no one's radar. Oh, thank you, Smiley. Welcome. Thank you. Someone showed me that dude's screenshot and swears she knows him from a fictional TV show on Long Crime. Huh? Hey, Seth. Good to see you. It's crazy because I kind of thought we would know because it was so personal, right? It seemed like, damn, like you're like to do something like that, you must be like really angry at these people or hurt or like somebody turned you down or, I mean, and maybe that did happen. We don't really know yet, but it just seems so personal. But then again, we have serial killers who have done it in the past and had no connection personally. So He could have been a serial killer in the making. I'm not sure he wasn't. I'm kind of curious what he would have done if he wasn't caught. What do you guys think?
I think it was a shock to everyone. So, you know, wow. So I saw Steve just a short time ago. I think I saw both of you on CNN on the plane. So Steve obviously still, I mean, they're grieving. They're in a lot of pain. You can tell. How do you think he's doing and the family?
Why the ending is so wild.
Well, I mean, things have changed in some aspect of it, is that they have a person that they've arrested, but the loss of their daughter hasn't changed. The loss that she was murdered and all of those things, that hasn't changed at all. And now you have to have hope. You had hope that they would get an arrest. Now you have to have hope that they're going to get a conviction, that they've done all the things that they needed to do, that they dotted their I's and crossed their T's, and have evidence that will come in, and we'll get a good hard evidence on this individual, and any additional evidence that they can, circumstantial evidence that they can find that will add to the weight of the direct evidence and the hard evidence on the case. I mean, so they're hopeful that will happen, but it's still a long journey. I mean, it's nowhere.
Yeah, the court process is super long. From the beginning, I thought, holy cow, this family is so, like, Steve seemed, and I think now that there's an arrest, some of this has probably changed, but he was so anxious, so worried that they're going to find anyone. And I knew it's such a long process, like from watching other cases. Think about it. Letitia Stalk, Lori Vallow, what is her name? Megan Boswell, but not her, the lady who killed Heidi Broussard, Megan Fieramusca. I mean, they still haven't been to trial, So I don't know. And oh my God, I'm just so anxious to see so many of those people go to trial. I really cannot wait. I know, Jaded. I know exactly what you mean. This is a very personal way to kill someone. Were these his first kills? Likely they would have not been his last. I put money on that. I wanted to ask you guys, I wish I knew how to do, David said I'm tardy. That was funny, by the way. I wish I knew how to do a poll. I've not done it. Leilani Simon, I can't wait to see her go. I can't wait to see what they have on her. That's true, Brandon. COVID backed things up. Okay, let me ask you guys. Do you think, if you think that he's killed before this, put a 1 in the chat. And then I want to ask if you think he would do it again. Or you could just put a 1 and yes or no. A 1 or a 2 or yes or no. Thank you, Jen. I would love that. Crazy mama. I know, me too. Wow. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See, I'm not sure about that. 1.5. Yes. He would do it again. And yes. No. Alex says no. 2. So no. And I'm kind of with you guys with not thinking he's done this before, just because I don't know. I'm not sure why. 1, because he's already gotten caught and he was not a dumb guy and he was pretty educated on this kind of stuff. What was the question again? Do you think he's done this before? That would be a 1 if you do, and 2 if you don't, and then yes or no if he would do it again. David, I'm sorry. Just popped in. What's the poll? Oh, yeah. I don't think he killed before and would definitely do it again. No, because he was a vegan. BTK first time was, I know. I talked about that the other day, because you're like, wait, do you think the very first time is going to be going into a home with so many people inside? And I've said from the beginning, I mean, I can't, in this day and age, cell phones, I don't know. I just wonder how he was so confident to even do this in the first place, to not think that somebody's going to get it on some sort of live feed or I don't know. And then all the cameras around, it's just a very bold thing to do. And then the whole entire, I think that's why it's gripped us so hard, because it's like, wow, this is completely shocking. Like, not only to see all these beautiful lives taken, whether they're, and no matter how they look, that doesn't matter. But you have these young kids that are in college about to go start their lives. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, the whole thing is just absolutely insane. It was sloppy, but damn straight would do it again. 2112. I'm drunk. Aaron said I'm drunk. Y'all are funny. I don't think he's killed before. Definitely think he'd have done it again. What happens if he isn't the person responsible? I mean, having a white car and some DNA from someplace isn't the most compelling evidence. Well, Frederick, I don't know. You know, there were a lot of people who felt that he may not be. I was surprised, honestly. Like I said, reading through some of my TikTok comments, I'm like, wow. I think I asked a couple of them like some questions because I was just so curious as to why they felt that way. I knew a girl who wouldn't eat out of a pan cooked with bacon specifically because she went vegan, but that's not out of the ordinary. You know what I want to know? The syllabus from his classes. I'm curious what and who. Oh my gosh, that would be so interesting. Not only the classes that he took, but the class that he was helping teach. Right before all this happened, this first semester, he was teacher's assistant, and he was emailing back and forth with the students and stuff because some of them have came on. Hey, Melissa, I'm happy that you're here. He could have been on heroin. I don't know because that's pretty. I don't like. I could see maybe in some sort of recovery going on to do school, but when you're on drugs like that, like you don't do anything every day that you're supposed to do. You can't keep up with anything. Your life is a complete mess. And to see somebody on that, like really, I don't know, maybe like experimenting, but that's just me, kind of my line of thought, but it could be wrong. I mean, there's always the exception too. Hey, sweet and sleuthy. Okay, let's keep going because there's a couple things out.
We're nowhere near the end, so.
Sure, most certainly. Have you been given any indication as to when they may bring him back, whether they bring him back possibly late tomorrow night or Wednesday or something to that effect?
They haven't given us any information. I've emailed them about that information. If they could give me some specifics as far as timelines, things like that. And I haven't received any response about specific timelines on just that they don't have any information. I would suppose that if he waives extradition tomorrow, I think the hearing's supposed to be earlier than the 3:30. I think it's supposed to be an 11:30 hearing. And so I would assume that they might have someone out there that might be able to get custody.
I like to see the transcript.
And then I would assume that they're going to be flying him back. I can't imagine that someone would be driving. So flying him back, and he could arrive in Idaho within 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
Range.
All this is kind of just about the process. I think we're going to move along. Hoping they're doing a proper investigation. That's a long journey. They talk about that again. Okay, yeah, we're not going to keep doing that. Okay, let's go to Twitter really quick because I got to see the latest over here because I want to see the local reporters that were in the courtroom. That's what sucks is nobody could watch the proceeding, which, I mean, not that much happened, but it would be interesting to watch his demeanor and stuff. Let's see this. The whole thing he points down. It's kind of dumb, but we'll watch it for a second.
I stopped you when you were driving by me there. You're a little too close to the back of that semi. One car in the back of the trailer. About one car was 10 miles an hour. So we're going 60 or 70 miles an hour. About 6 or 7 cars. Oh, you guys did? Yeah.
I mean,
So, you got
I think that you have to have some special, like you have to have the right setup to actually be able to hear him really clearly. People will start enhancing that and we'll be able to hear a little better. Let's see. It is probably not likely that Bryan Kohberger will be flown to Idaho Tuesday night, Pennsylvania State Police said. I'm really curious who the other person was that pulled them over in the SUV. A wide-eyed Bryan Kohberger could be seen leaning over in the driver's seat after he was pulled over by Indiana State Police. Okay, so this is reported by the news. Now, I kept seeing this, but I wasn't going to read it unless it was somewhere we could trust. Listen to this. Idaho murders. Pennsylvania police say force was used, when search warrant was executed at Kohberger home. Pennsylvania law enforcement officials broke windows and doors when executing an overnight search warrant in the arrest of Idaho quadruple murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. Why would they bust the windows and the doors? Dude, kids are coming through here. Hey, Case. Hold on, you guys. I know, Wolfie. I'm like, dude, really? It's procedure to bust the windows? At his parents' house, yeah, to get immediate entry. Hold on. Before anything could be destroyed. Even if flown, it'll be private jet and nobody will know. SWAT team. How scary for the family. I know. Hey, Humanimal. It was a SWAT team type entry, full force, gear, vest, guns, very intense. Oh, my Lord. Oh, mine aren't at all. They just walk through here because I'm outside. I'm in between the houses, and everyone walked through here to go eat dinner. I'm sitting in between outside. When they roll in, it's like the military. Holy cow, that is so scary. Golly. And then they're in court today crying. I can't believe that. Law enforcement officials broke windows and doors when executing an overnight search warrant in the arrest of Idaho quadruple murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. Pennsylvania State Police Major Christopher Paris said during an afternoon press conference that force was used to gain access to the Kohberger's home during the early morning hours of December 30th. There were multiple windows that were broken, I believe, to gain access, as well as multiple doors. How did I miss that? Because I listened to that, but I was doing other stuff too as it was playing. But wow. To gain access, though, I mean, that makes sense. Paris said that preparations for the search warrant's execution began on the evening of December 29th and added that around 50 tactical assets were on scene. What does that mean? Tactical assets. Mike Mancuso, Monroe County First Assistant DA, said he believes that Kohberger wants to waive extradition because he wants to see what's inside the affidavit of probable cause. We saw that. He signed an extradition document during court on Tuesday afternoon and waived his right to challenge the arrest on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Yes, Kohberger said when Judge Margarita Worthington asked if he wishes to waive the rights that I have just explained to you and return to the state of Idaho. Look at him. Oh, my God. Put your tongue in your mouth, young man. Jesus. Kohberger, a teaching assistant and PhD student at Washington State University's Department of Criminal Justice, was arrested on December 30th by local police and agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigation at his parents' home in Albrightsville. Like, who pays for the windows? The parents didn't do this, you know? Oh my God. Oh, look, Bryan's lawyer sends defense investigators to crime scene. We're getting ready to look at that. Holy cow. He is being charged in connection to the fatal November 13th stabbings of Kaylee, Ethan, Dana, and Maddie. He's facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary for breaking into the home with intent to commit murder. Court documents are under seal. Okay, let's go read this. So he does have the Bryan Kohberger's lawyer sends defense investigators to crime scene. Investigators hired by Bryan Kohberger's defense team arrived Tuesday at the home where he's accused of fatally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students. Wait, so people can go there for him and like take pictures and stuff and then share that with him and stuff? Or, oh my God. I think insurance will pay for it. I'm blown away, you guys. This is crazy. Just giggling at Alex. What did I say? I don't know. Sorry, you guys. Holy moly. That's what I thought, Angelina. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. Holy cow. They had joint agents from Idaho and PA. PA picked up as soon as they realized he was heading towards family. Wow. My God, y'all. Can Seth, but wait, can they though seriously take pictures and all that kind of stuff? It's normal for defense to have access to. It's U.S. law. Wow, I know that makes sense that it would be normal, but damn, it's just crazy. Okay. Fox News reported 3 men and 2 women arrived at the King Road house at about noon Eastern time and spent 45 minutes taking video inside and outside the property. Good Lord. This is sad. 4 of the investigators left after touring the home Tuesday, while a crime scene reconstruction analyst remained. Wow. Who did he hire? He's probably not using the state, like, court appointed, right? Or would they do that as well? Would they have the money to do all this? An Idaho State Police trooper accompanied the group. The Idaho lawyer who is representing the accused mass murderer hasn't been publicly identified. The fact that Bryan Kohberger's attorney has brought in private investigators to go throughout the crime scene leads me to believe that he is definitely going to mount a strong defense, said Fox News contributor Ted Williams, a former homicide detective and attorney. My God, y'all, this is making me angry and sick inside. Holy cow. He will see all the evidence prosecution has during the discovery process, right? Public defender is free, but they will not do this, like reconstruct a crime scene and have like 5 people working for him, right? His dad even said they didn't have money to hire him a private attorney. Maybe somebody's doing it pro bono. Jump into assumptions and conclusions with very little evidence. It would do you and everyone else good. Just wait and see what the evidence is. Frederick, I can't even with whatever. I don't care. But dude, oh my gosh, you guys, this is crazy. I bet you, I would bet anything. This case is huge. There is going to be a defense attorneys who want to do it for free because, yeah, he may be innocent. He has a public defender named Ann Taylor. They will hire a forensic team. Who is paying for the private investigation team? I don't know. I guess we'll see. PD won't say big defense team will come forward, if not in talks already. This is big for a new firm. That's what I was thinking. I would almost bet that lawyers would want to, they would do this pro bono no matter what, because it's just such a big case. Okay, let's keep going. A cleaning crew arrived at the murder scene last Friday to clear the home of biohazards and harmful substances in preparation for turning the property back over to the owner. Speaking of that, like I said earlier, Criminality interviewed today. They did an interview with a company that does this, and it was very interesting. And they did kind of weave in Idaho with some of the conversation. So definitely go check that out. Okay. But at a press conference later Friday to announce the arrest of Kohberger, Moscow Police Chief James Fry said that remediation efforts at the home were halted after receiving a legal request from the court. Kohberger was arrested Friday at about 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time at his parents' home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, which is about 2,500 miles from the crime scene in Idaho. Well, you know what? If anybody would know how to talk to and what to ask for with even court-appointed attorneys, it would be him, right? The Washington State University PhD student and teaching assistant in the Criminal Justice and Criminology program wrapped up the semester before driving home with his father. He was due in Monroe County Court in Stroudsburg for extradition. A public defender who is representing him only in the extradition says he's voluntarily returning. Okay. Kohberger believes he will be exonerated, and his parents believe their son isn't behind the horrific slayings. The slain college students were ambushed in their sleep and each stabbed multiple times, according to police. Officials have not publicly disclosed a motive for the gruesome rampage or recovered the fixed blade knife they believe was used in the attack. Okay, we know this stuff. Wow. I'm pretty shocked by that, but okay. She is a death penalty attorney. Ew. Like I said, your minds will be blown by the evidence against him. The process of what is revealed will blow your minds, in my opinion. Imagine if he isn't the killer. That makes a killer out there running around with a murder weapon, scary stuff. I think we wait and see what's in the affidavit. I don't think they would just arrest just anybody, or just over some, think about it. There are people that looked pretty suspicious. I don't know. I just think we got to wait and see, really, what the evidence is. They need to look in the yard. Buried guns in the yard, and it was at his mom's house. I'm so glad Idaho does not allow. I know, but you know what? It sucks because it can put the process off. If that was something that he wanted to do, I don't know that he could, or if he even would qualify. I know with Lori Vallow, it just sucks because it's put court off for so long, because if they're deemed to not be competent, they can't even be charged. And it can be paused along the way. We learned that with her because it not only happened right when she was charged, but then a few months later, she had to go back to the mental hospital and become competent again before court could move forward. That freaking sucks because I don't know. Like Letitia, she's doing something like that. I don't remember exactly, but she's doing something with her. Even though she was deemed competent, they're still using it as a defense in some way or another. It's kind of confusing, but and JJ and Tally still haven't been laid to rest either. Ugh. Ava, I think so too, because he doesn't want them to have more time to put, to the least amount of time is the best. Now it starts on the day he was arrested in Pennsylvania, the day he gets to Idaho. I would bet the day I don't know if it's the day he gets to Idaho or the day he has court in Idaho, when those days start. 180 days or whatever. Law enforcement is looking to speak with people from his childhood. The ones coming forward, I just shake my head. It's going to be a shit show. I know. It's crazy. There are a lot of them too. Okay, arrested. Oh, thank you, Miles. I appreciate that. My kid is awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, let's see. Body cam footage. His apartment. Why would they say that? I don't believe that to be true. There's no way there'd be video of that out. He'll be housed in a separate cell. Exclusive. The Latah County Sheriff Richard Skiles speaks to Court TV about the jail where Bryan will reside once he arrives to Idaho. Let's listen to this for a minute.
Word from them when they'll be what they want to do as far as transport, or if we are, or whatever like that. So that'll be the timeline. So then we'll know that within the next day or two, probably. That's a long ways to drive. He'll be housed in a separate cell. We'll have some extra security. That's what a lot of the questions are. We want to make sure we do it right. As soon as what he is probably done in Pennsylvania, so we're waiting for word from them when they'll be what they want to do as far as transport, or if we are, or whatever like that. So that'll be the timeline. So then we'll know that within the next day or two, probably. That's a long ways to drive. So they'll probably fly. I would.
Pullman, I guess.
You have Spokane. It just depends on what kind of plane they have, and if Pullman's open or Lewiston, because we have Lewiston too.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, that's right. And then whether or not you pick them up there, if they
Right.
bring them all the way here.
Right.
It will be here. This is the jail, right? Like
Yes.
where we are. So
Yep, this is the jail.
tell me more about the jail. Like how many do you house? Is it what typically do you?
I can house up to 7, and I have about 22 down there.
Wow, that's a pretty small jail. 22 people? And he'll be there until he goes to prison. Holy cow. Unless he gets moved for some reason, but that's pretty small. But let's keep listening, because I think he may even be even more isolated than that. Remember Letitia being transported? Oh my God, and she attacked a guard. Yes! Oh my Lord. And then think about like all the craziness that's happened with that, and now just nothing, just waiting. I can't imagine Gannon's family and what they must feel like, because I don't know, it just feels so unfair. We're not insulting him. Frederick, bye. I was going to wait. I wasn't going to block you, but I'm done with your ass. Bye. Seriously. I'm going to be exonerated. Okay, buddy. Did I block him? Because I tried to on my end, but... Oh my gosh, I'm going to block the wrong person. There we go. Thank you, Woofy. Oh my God. Nothing for certain. Sorry if I missed this, but is this the same white Elantra? So yes, he does have a white Elantra, and they have taken it, but they were a little bit off with the year. Bryan in chat, yeah, block him too. I mean, good Lord. Okay, let's keep listening. I'm sorry, y'all.
Or whatever, so.
There's plenty of room for him, and like I said, he'll be in a regular cell by himself.
Yep.
Any special protocol?
No, and he's just, he's he's not guilty, right? Until he goes to court and everything. So he's, you know, he's going to be in my jail, but he's not going to be, you know, treated any different than anybody
Good.
else in my jail. So, you can talk on the phone to family members and stuff like that.
Hey, Riddler.
And we have visitation like most jails do.
They can receive mail, they can see
Yep.
mail,
They can have mail and stuff like
they
that.
get 3 meals a day, like what?
Oh yeah, yep, he'll get, you know, the same treatment that all the rest of the inmates get, so.
And be like, it all the time?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
We don't have obviously cases like this on a normal basis. We're not the big city stuff. And so this is definitely different for all of us, and it hit really close to home, and it's pretty horrific actually.
Okay. I don't know for certain, what I saw about him being transported is it could be today or tomorrow. I think I saw something about like someone said it would most likely be Thursday. Am I wrong? And then like they were talking about, could it be tonight? And they said it could, but that's not likely to happen. What a small jail. That is pretty surprising. If Bryan used some of these touted knives, the purchase would stick out in his bank receipts as not just a small purchase for many on this list. If he's the planner, it appears he'd have bought one sturdy enough, you know, to do what he did. Let's look at this for a second. Map reveals everything we know about Bryan's drive across country. Sorry. Now, Shay, you got me thinking about the noise of that damn mouse. Map reveals everything we know about Bryan's drive across the country. Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger was taken into custody while home in Pennsylvania. Graduate student at Washington State. We know that. Let's close that. It is such a long drive. It really is. 40 hours, I believe, they said. The same car that had circulated online and drew plenty of attention from authorities for its reported presence in the vicinity of the murders committed on King Road. Still cannot get over that I don't know, that wasn't a thought in anybody's mind. But maybe the other car that pulled him over, you know, maybe it was the people that were following him. Andrew McCabe, former director of FBI from 2016 to 2018, said Saturday on CNN that federal agents likely surveilled him for many weeks. The suspect was likely on their radar before he ever left Idaho to go home. It's an incredibly complicated, well-choreographed ballet, if I may, of surveillance efforts that would cross multiple FBI field divisions, would involve multiple surveillance teams who were following him in certain areas and handing him off to new teams. Kohberger was also taken into custody in the early morning hours. Okay, that's what I want to, which Jennifer says is deliberate. I am glad I saw that because I wanted us to go, before I go, look at Jennifer's Twitter because oftentimes she has stuff I haven't seen and she has really good insight. Okay, let's go to her Twitter. I'm going to go to her tweets and replies. You guys, I can't see the comments right this second, just so you guys know, but I'll be right back to them. Look, I peered over my shoulder and looked into my attacker's eyes. I knew immediately from his eyes that I was in grave danger. The eyes told me all I needed to know. I feel horrible for the Moscow victims if they looked into his eyes. Eyes are the window to the soul. So I wonder if she is talking about from personal experience. But yeah, I totally agree. He looks, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I know it's innocent till proven guilty, but I'm just being honest. He does he scares me a little bit, a lot. To the point why I'm telling you guys to lock your doors and your windows and all that stuff because nobody ever imagines that this kind of thing will happen to you or your loved ones. But it very well could, you know. And scary. She said, my heart just skipped a beat. I agree. He has not about being guilty. Agreed. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's the first thing I saw. Very obvious. It certainly looks like a wound to me from my armchair. Horrifying situation. Definitely not the first thing I saw, but I saw. See, I don't know. Would he still have wounds? I said that in Teresa's earlier. She said she was attacked herself. I don't know that you would, sorry to go back and forth. I just don't know that you would have wounds still 7 weeks later. What do you guys think? I don't know. This is interesting. The attorney for Bryan Christopher Kohberger has said his client and father were pulled over on their trip from Washington to PA, yet law enforcement says no record. Something is amiss. So that if they had the DNA while he was still in Idaho, they would have arrested him there. But they followed him all the way back to PA, so there's something more to it. He doesn't understand law enforcement. I wonder why they did do that. I guess they had to wait for oh, that's right. I think that they said they were waiting on the warrant to go through, and it took some time. There is his hand. Let's look at what they're talking about. Oh, you can't even see it. That's on the pinky of the right hand. Open to interpretation. Mine is a healing cut. The face is clear. A cut on both wrists. I don't know. I think sometimes people are just reaching way too hard. But let's keep going. These are just replies where she's replied to other things. Why did they initially deny making the stops? The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, or they made a tactical error not realizing the defense attorney would talk. But only one stop. The other stop, there's still, I don't believe, is record of it. Court order regarding seating for the hearing and the media. Okay, so she talks about the guy that posted after arrest on TikTok. We talked about that. She says, Bryan Christopher Kohberger is a physically large man. This crime required significant strength and stamina. He does have a vest on, though, but I was also looking at his arms close up, and he's not, small. He's a pretty tall guy, Someone said, do we think he had an accomplice? Large or not, it would be exhausting, to do this. And Jennifer says no accomplice, despite him being asked about an arrest. Oops. She said it. So I wonder what kind of DNA he left behind. I do wonder if there were injuries or not. I think that would also clear up some of the rumors of those Reddit accounts and stuff, because they did talk about that. She says, we don't know if Bryan Christopher Kohberger killed before, but it's plausible. You can bet law enforcement will be looking at unsolved burglaries, homicides, and attempted assaults in and around DeSales University during the years BK was there. Newsweek. Okay, so ex-FBI Jennifer is actually sharing an article that she was interviewed for, because I could see it right there. That's crazy, though. I can't wait to see what they come up with. She says it's certainly plausible. Summer Wells remains missing. It will be 2 years this summer. This case is the definition of cold, and with the issues surrounding local law enforcement, I don't know if Summer will ever be found. Oh, my God. You guys, that just, I am about to let you guys go in a minute, but let's use the index finger starting at the bottom. Heirs, not that I've seen. I wonder if any of them will ever come out and speak, meaning the Jacks and Adam and all of those folks. But wow, let me look at this just for a second. Val Summer, what is this? Nearly 1 year since Summer went missing, and the inconsistencies of, she shared her old post from a year ago. The inconsistencies of Dawn, Candace, Grandis remain deafening. No hope law enforcement will solve unless she's found or their silence breaks. Then she shares Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson's son pleads guilty to 4 counts of attempted aggravated sexual battery, but received 1 year in jail and had a 20-year sentence. Shame on Hawkins County DA. Summer, your case never had a chance. Wow, I didn't know she said all this. Candace lighting up YouTube. Wow, you guys. The evidence available does not suggest a stranger abduction. Let us hope the interviews of the Wells boys yields information useful to the recovery of Summer. This just is heartbreaking, y'all. It's crazy because she's even calling out the local law enforcement. She said, always believed the boys would be the key, but still no break. Grandis, Candace, and Dawn will never break unless one of them is charged. No pressure was put on the Wells. Law enforcement needs to take a page out of the Harmony playbook. How the Wells weren't charged with neglect is beyond me. Wow. She also says something about Chris McDonough, and we're not going to get into any of that. We're just going to keep on to Idaho. She says, this is an interesting segment. The discussion concerns the Washington State University's educational program curriculum. Okay, let's look at this, and then we're going to go. It's 2 minutes.
Welcome back
Hold
to
on.
Early Morning.
Let's do this.
Bryan Kohberger, the 28-year-old criminology student accused of killing 4 students in Idaho, is expected in a Pennsylvania courtroom today. Kohberger was arrested Friday, and as the days pass, who Bryan Kohberger is appears to be coming into sharper focus. Robert Sherman is live in Moscow, Idaho, with more on that. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you, Mitch. Still a lot of unanswered questions here in this case, but as you were saying, we are starting to get a more clear picture as to who Bryan Kohberger is. For one thing, he lived less than 20 minutes away from where we are in Moscow, Idaho. He was living over in Pullman, Washington, which is home to Washington State University. That's where he was impeached.
Now, this is at the apartment, correct? That's what it looks like, but it's kind of hard to tell. They have this box right here. Police tape. Ellie, check Messenger. Chris K. Whose channel is this? Let's see. No, just his parents saw his mom every day of high school. Never met his sisters. Went to grade school, not high school. People need to hear how he was without making false narratives. Pleasant Valley. Do you want to come up? If you have any questions for someone who actually knew him and his parents, let me know. I went to school with him. I can drop the link and you could come up. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Teresa, do you want to come up? I'm like, Teresa. Hey there, Alex and everyone. Just wanted to say, really like the birds in the background in some of your lives. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like to be outside. It's just so much, I don't know, more chill. Should I do that? Yeah, just click the link and you can just, okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, it says device is not connected. There we go. Now it is. Hold on. Teresa. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Oh. We lost him.
Lost him.
Thank you for coming up here because I
Yeah,
kind
they
of
said that he was on
froze.
another channel earlier, and I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet. So I was interested in what he was saying.
What was he saying? Okay, here he is again. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's okay. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, no problem. I've just been going to like a lot of live channels and just seeing what people are saying about his childhood and his parents and everything. And it's just like makes me angry that like people are coming after his parents and like saying all this stuff when none of that's true.
Well, you know what, Chris? I don't know how long you've been here, but I mean, now I will say I said that he's like freaked me out in that picture.
Oh,
His
no,
eyes.
not you. I'm not saying yourself. I'm just saying everybody in general. Like,
right.
Like sitting here
We
knowing
were
this
talking-
person, it's crazy.
We were talking about his parents are victims too, but we
Yeah.
talk a little bit about them and say whatever you want, of course, anytime you know that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I knew him up until I graduated high school. He was a year below me. His mother worked at the school. Very nice woman, Miss Kohberger. So I had a lot of interaction with her. Like I said, very sweet lady. So like, you know, I had a lot of experience with him up until I graduated high school. And all throughout high school, like, if there was one person you would never think to do something like this, it's Bryan, because of how just intelligent and like he switched his whole life around in high school and lost weight, became more interactive, and this is just all crazy to me, you know.
Was it true that he was using drugs and stuff in high school?
Yeah, so I threw a lot of parties in high school. He came to 2 of my parties, but when I was in high school, there wasn't really any drugs up in that area. But as soon as I graduated, drugs infiltrated that area up there in the Poconos. But yeah, I can confirm 100% that he was doing drugs after or during or after his senior year in high school.
Okay. Wow. It's crazy how he turned his life around and ended up going to get a PhD. You know?
Yeah. I guess that's what I'm looking at. Like, I'm just looking at everything, and a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, he had so much going for him.
What did you think when you first heard the news? Were you like, yeah.
So initially, I didn't really know too much about the Idaho like killings or anything like that. So when the news broke, I was just like, wait, what did he do? And then I was reading it, and I was so dumbfounded. And of course, you know, everybody you go to high school with is posting, and everybody's commenting, having their own, you know, opinion on how he was and stuff like that. And then I see, you know, people attacking his parents, and you know, so I was just shocked because, you know, there's some people, I'm sure everybody knows people that they went to school with that they could probably think that they're capable of something like this, but not somebody like him. It all just makes no sense to me at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually talked to him or saw him?
Last time I spoke to Bryan was senior year in the weight room. Because like I said, in high school, he was big in grade school. Like, I was fat too. So he was fat in high school. I mean, in grade school. And then he started working out. He had a big weight loss transformation, and he started becoming more active, more social, girlfriend, stuff like that. So, you know, that doesn't make sense to me, because if he was just bullied throughout high school, I could see, you know, how that would be some kind of motive. But he switched his whole life around in high school. And then he went on to he went to Northampton Community College, where I went to, but then he went to DeSales, and now he's working on his PhD. So to throw that all away and do something this heinous, like I said, if I didn't know him, I'd probably be bashing him too. But the fact that I knew this individual, I knew his mother, it's just, It's crazy. absolutely crazy.
You said he did have girlfriends?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, in high school, he lost a lot of weight. He became more confident. He had girlfriends. He was just a normal, but he was very smart. Like everybody knew he was very smart, very, 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 very smart. So that's all he really focused on was school and like trying to get into the best college. That's from what I took from seeing all the years I've known him from grade school. But this is just this is a big shocker because of how many other people I could just think in my head that I think would do something stupid like this because of how they were in high school, but
my God.
Yeah. So
so do you know, someone was asking, do you know that, like, how was he close with his family? And I know you said his mom was really nice lady and stuff.
Yeah. Like I remember, she took him home all, before he drove, and, she never like yelled at him in the hallway or berated him in front of anybody. Like, she was always just a nice lady. So he never had a terrible relationship with obviously he didn't have a terrible relationship with his parents because his dad just flew out there to drive back with him. So now I can confirm that he would go home and stuff during college because I know people that were friends with him after high school. So, everybody started talking when this news came out. So I started getting information that like I didn't know before. That's to me, that's hearsay. So all I can account for is what I know throughout high school,
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I respect that. Now, did you see the reports where they were saying that after his weight loss, like that he went from being bullied to being a bully? Is any of that true?
Yeah, I'm here to tell you that's 100% false because so I played baseball. I guess you can consider I was a jock, but I didn't hang out with I hung out with everybody except the people that cause trouble in the school, which are called juggalos. So I hung out with every clique. So I was probably the second biggest as far as muscular wise. I had a big transformation. And so I was one of the biggest kids in high school. He just lost weight and became skinny. So he never when he came to the parties that I had, he never fought anybody, caused trouble. He never caused trouble in school. And you got to understand, this is a straight A student, straight edge, straight A student throughout up until I left high school, I'm assuming, because again, like people are saying in the chat, I don't know what happened after high school. I can't account for that. He could have changed. I don't know. Right. All I know is there was no signs of any of this, no killing of animals, no missing bodies in that area. I mean, I grew up in that area my whole life. I was born up there. So, there's just so much people are saying, and I just want to clear. I'm not here for fame or anything like that. I'm just here to clear the air and go back to my normal life because I'm seeing so much, and it's just not fair to his parents and family that are constantly, they're victims. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, they weren't out there, and I saw his mom and sister had done this thing when Uvalde, the school shooting happened, and his mom seemed like they seemed like people who, one, kept up with the news, so I'm sure they knew about the case some, and two, they seemed compassionate, and so I don't know. I feel really bad for the family. We hear they're in court today crying.
Yeah.
And that's
like I said, just knowing his mother and how nice of a person she was, just like I obviously feel more for the family than Bryan, because again, I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't do it just because I knew him. I mean, I don't have enough facts to sit here and say if he did it or not. I'm just waiting, like everybody else is, to see something that's clear that says, wow, he did it. It's so.
Right. That's fair. I think that's fair. Do you think what is your opinion? Do you think that someone asked in the chat, does the caller think maybe they have the wrong guy?
Here's I guess my questions because I still have questions. Remember, I'm not sitting here thinking I have this all figured out that he didn't do it. I still have questions as well. I guess one of the big questions I have, and one of the big I'll clear the air on one thing. His nose was always like that. He didn't get his nose broken at the scene or anything like that. So that narrative's out of the way. Now, as far as my big question is, stabbing 4 people means you have to be up close. And if I felt somebody stab me, it's obviously going to wake me up. I'm going to punch, spit, kick, do something to leave my DNA on that person. But if the victims had defensive wounds, how did he go to class the next day? Not just as a student that could sit in the back with his hood up and be non-visible. He was a teacher's assistant. So he was visible to a class that's studying criminology. How did he go to class normal and nobody saw anything, or he had no marks? How is that possible? He was not a big, muscular, overpowering guy. So that's a big question I have.
I think that's a fair question. You know, I like to hear from all sides. I had people in my TikTok that were kind of questioning things, and I was asking them, like, why do you feel the way you feel? Truly, genuinely curious. I think it's interesting to hear from, you know, all sides of a perspective. It's only fair too. And you are innocent until proven guilty, you know. That's just the facts, but we don't know. Whenever he gets back to Idaho, they will release some of what they have. I mean, I wonder how much of their classes could have been online as well, because I know he was doing an online class with before he left his cells, and then I know that some people have shared emails that were in his class that he was the teacher's assistant. So I'm curious if they were in person or online and that kind of thing. I think we know they were in person some, but so I don't know. That's a good question though.
Hey, Harry, I'm not here to defend anybody, but I just know this person. You know, this isn't my best friend. This isn't my really good friend. This is just somebody that I went to school with. So if he did this and they have evidence on him, he needs to get the death penalty, period. I don't care if I knew this person or not. Anybody that commits something like this needs to be put to death. Whether you agree with me or not, that's my opinion on it.
Right.
But aside from that, I'm not gonna just say he's a piece of, all this stuff and not really know what's going on. So
I think you came here not to defend him. I think you came here, in my opinion, to kind of maybe say, hey, his family doesn't deserve to be blamed for this somewhat, which is true. I think
that's all.
I would hate to see that, but it happens all the time. I was talking about this at the beginning of my stream. The families, whether they know anything or not, oftentimes the families of the perpetrator get really bad press and people get really angry with them, and it's awful.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just the fact that I knew his mom, and everybody's saying that his parents knew. There's no way they didn't know. They abetted him. They aided and abetted him. It irks me, and I can't like not say anything. Whether everybody thinks I'm here to do whatever to do, I'm just here to clear the air on some things that are allegations rather than fact. So
I have a question.
I don't think that's fair to say that his parents knew anything. They don't live by him. They live 2,500 miles away. So I agree with you. Until something comes out, down the road, if something came out saying they did know, then I'd have a totally different opinion. But as of right now, they're emotional victims of him at this point if he's guilty.
Yeah. And that's exactly right.
Can I ask about the sisters? So there were a lot of rumors that there were YouTubers saying his sisters lived in Moscow beside the crime, beside where the crime took place. But do you know anything about them? And do they even live out west at all? Or
no. Like I said, as far as I know, his sister is up where in the Poconos. But again, I can only account for up until I graduated high school. I don't know what he did after that, what he got into, any of that. All I can see is he went to college and he's working on his PhD. And now he murdered 4 people. That's all I know as far as after high school. Now, again, the people that hung out with him after high school, I spoke to them, and they kind of just said the same thing. I mean, you heard the guy that was interviewed, Skylar Jacobson, the one that went jogging with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I know Skylar very, very well. And you heard what he said. He called him to go for a run so he didn't feel, alone. He went with a jog with Bryan. So that just shows you like nobody that knew him would even think this at all, just because of how he was. But do I know his sisters? No. Like I said, I don't know his sisters like I know Bryan. I went to school with Bryan. I didn't go to school with his sisters.
Now, do you think?
No, go ahead. Sorry, Allie.
You go, T, because my question's on the screen, kind of, so I won't forget.
So I was going to ask. So the people that you've talked to, I know you said like you think it's hearsay, but is anybody like going, there's no way this dude did this? Or is everybody kind of like, holy crap, we can't believe this?
To be honest, if people even have that opinion of that he didn't do it, there's no way he did it, they're not gonna. Nobody's saying that because nobody wants to be attacked. That's why I don't even I don't even really. Usually I'm not comfortable on like a call like this, but in my opinion, like, I'm not for it. I'm not against. I'm just in the middle, like everybody else, just waiting for information. I just know a little more about the person because I went to school with them. So, it's all just, you wake up to this, you read the article, you start, and then your whole world is like crazy. I mean, I know people that are 2 years that graduate after him that are getting their doors knocked on by press, people that barely even knew him. And they're asking him questions and stuff. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just a lot going on.
It's such a huge case. I mean, it has taken over. My dad, he knows like lots of, today we were talking and he knew so many details, and he's not into true crime. Like we talk about true crime here all the time. And also I want to say, I really appreciate you coming up here to give your perspective and your side. I think that's fair. And I definitely don't want his family being attacked and that kind of stuff. And we need to know the truth. We shouldn't be biased and just, look at one side. But it's crazy. It has blown up. It is huge. It's everywhere. You're seeing it on Fox News, tabloids, local media, everywhere. I bet that is pretty shocking because your whole life's kind of being.
I doubt he knew him in high school yet. Okay, I'm lying.
Like, what he has no reason to have that on social media. Don't worry about any of that crap. Don't even read those comments. I'm telling you.
That's fine. Like, I just don't, like I said, I don't stream. I don't have a channel. Do nothing. Like, I'm just.
You have no
I'm just a regular person with a kid.
Trying to wrap your mind around this craziness that it is so close to home for you.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, that's the only reason I'm on this call. Like I said, if I didn't know him, I would be saying his parents. I mean, I'd be saying everything. I don't slight anybody for what they're saying about him because I'd be saying the same thing. But when you actually remember how this person was compared to what the heck just happened, your mind can't just be like, he did all that. He's been a sicko his whole life, because you're lying to yourself. So I'm just here to give insight on anybody that wants to know how he used to be before. I don't know what happened to him, but back in high school and grade school and stuff, that's what I know. I don't know anything after that. I'm not going to pretend to know anything after that. So, yeah.
A lot of people in chat are asking about what you think of the look on his face, like the look in his eyes.
So his blank stare has always like the way me and you were having, like the way we're having a fluent conversation. It was kind of like a choppy, slow conversation when you talk to Bryan. And like, it always looked like he was mean mugging you. Like at first I didn't even think he liked me, but then I noticed that it's kind of like, no matter who he's talking to, he has that look. So that's not something that he just like acquired over time. He's always had that blank stare look.
Wow.
Do you think that he looks more like caved in now? Like, I mean, because I've seen pictures of him that people have posted from when he was in high school, and he's obviously much fuller faced. But his face is so gaunt.
He looks. I mean, his face looks fuller than, like, obviously when you're 17, 18 years old. So it made him look really big today on camera when he walked through the courthouse, but he had a vest on. Like if he took that vest off, he's a skinny guy. He didn't bully anybody in school after he lost weight. He wasn't able to. So like I said, I can't wrap my head around how this person committed like a murder that looked like it was committed by a professional. I mean, the way that they went in, not leaving a trace anywhere outside of blood, like nothing. So again, I'm just so mind blown because of how this was carried out. It just seems like it's somebody that, I don't know. It could be, like I said, it probably is him, could be him. It's hard to wrap your mind around it when, like, if everybody just closes their eyes, remembers somebody from their school that was doing very well and very, very well academically, you would never think in a million years that person would do exactly what Bryan did. That's his, that's the position I'm in. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just saying.
But think about this. Ted Bundy, he had a freaking girlfriend that he was with who didn't know what he was up to. So I do think that people can kind of hide that dark part of them. You know what I mean? Because she has a whole show, a series about like how she was with him and had no idea. They were dating. He was around her baby, all kinds of stuff. Like, it's crazy. But I still appreciate your insight.
Yeah, of course.
I wonder if he must have just hid it from people, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, and I don't know from when he graduated up until what happened, like what he started looking into. But if I had to guess, like where this came from is his studies. Like he just got so involved and so into his studies that like he just fascinated so much about it and wanted to carry out the perfect murder. And I don't know. I have no clue.
That was actually something I wanted to ask you. Was he into true crime or following cases or anything like that back in high school? Do you remember him ever?
Back in high school, he was more inclined into just doing very well in school and video gaming, and then working out. Like he used to not really work out that much, obviously in grade school, but in high school he was working out a lot. So from what I could tell, like I said, he didn't wear any kind of graphic T-shirts. He wasn't in any gory music or anything like that. He was just a normal smart kid. Like I don't know what else to say.
Is this his voice? Let me know if this sounds like it could be him. Listen.
Hey, I just had a question, kind of mainly for you. A couple of them. Do you ever consider the fact or think about? While you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. Yeah, you're right, but you're never going to find out.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised, man.
My other question for you was, if you could just imagine that he was watching right now, what's the one thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
Are you the killer?
No.
Does that sound like his voice?
Jesus. I can't say yes or no, only because like his voice wasn't that deep, obviously, back from what I remember. So I don't know if it changed. I don't want to. To me, I saw another like something where you just played me that his voice sounded a little more feminine. So.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, that wasn't him. It was proven not to be him. That other one, but
So I'm seeing all this stuff. Yes, I'm seeing all this stuff with like different voices and stuff. So I can't sit here and tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably knew him like a 5 or 6. He came to a couple of my parties. I knew his mom from school. I saw him in school all the time. I was in one of his classes. When he was bigger, I was in his class. Like when he was bigger, I remember him, how big he was and stuff like that. And then I remember him in high school. So I wasn't like a friend or a best friend of his. I was, I guess, an acquaintance of his.
Right.
So yeah, I can't tell you if that's him or not. But if he called into a station after doing that, then that's pretty sick.
I don't know. There's a lot of people. I think his background going to get his PhD in, criminology, I think that is really throwing people for a loop, because it makes you wonder about the psychology behind that and what he was thinking all along the way, and then you hear how smart he was. And if he was to be the one who did this, was he like trying to get away with I don't know. Was it part of his studies? Was he trying to get away with the perfect crime? Was there some sort of break?
That's what I'm
mentally?
thinking.
Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he just got so caught up into that crap. And then, all the stuff with learning from the woman that interviewed that famous serial killer and all that and stuff. So
yeah,
again, anybody can be kind of brainwashed into, if you're into it enough where it consumes you. That's what I'm assuming happened. I don't know, only because I heard, and I don't know if you can confirm this, but the 2 people that, excuse me, 2 of the 4 people that were murdered didn't live at that house. Is that correct?
One of the people.
One of the people, yeah. So, to me, it sounds like collateral damage. Like, Like, it just sounds like it's like
Right.
he went in there for one person, but then it turned into collateral damage is what, if I had to put my finger on it. I just, like I said, it's
Like,
tough to watch all
I've
this
wondered
unfold.
that.
Yeah.
I know. Like, maybe you mean like he went over in there, let's say after the girl's upstairs, but accidentally ran into the guy and his girlfriend or some kind of thing like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, he walk in there but then again, if he was stalking them and watching the house for that long, he would know how many people are in that house. So again, I could be completely wrong. Again, without them coming out with any kind of like information to give us, it's hard to, put your finger on what exactly happened. But again, I just know he's not crazy. So don't ever let anybody tell you he was crazy, he was always nuts or anything like that, because that's not true. At all.
Well, I'm so glad that you called in and
No problem.
like told us all this. And Teresa, do you have any other questions for him?
I'm just curious to know, were you aware of the Idaho case like prior to this? Like, what was your knowledge?
No, like I said, when the news dropped about, because there's always like, it's a very small town. So when something happens to somebody that, we all went to school with, it's all over the Facebook. So he was on Facebook, but I didn't really, I didn't click on it. But then as soon as I saw everybody posting it, I was like, what the heck? So I clicked on it and then I started reading, and then I looked into the murders in Idaho, and I was like, oh my God, like this is not just like a hit and run or something. This is crazy. And that's where I realized the capacity of what happened out there. So no, I did not know about anything until it came out that, he did this. So I'm just coming from an unbiased opinion here as far as, knowing him, seeing what's going on, and then giving you guys as much clarity as I can give. So,
I'm with Alex. I appreciate you, offering to come up. That's why I messaged her and was like, "Hey, like it's good insight." Even though it was 10 years ago, it puts things into a perspective because you have to kind of know his history. And like you said, if people try to come out and be like, "Oh, he was always a weird kid and he was doing this and that and the other," it's good to hear the other perspectives of that. That he just seemed like a normal dude who was, a little chubby when he was younger, which is not uncommon. And that he was a smart kid.
Yeah,
so
I mean that's really all I can tell you, because that's the God's honest truth. I mean, if other people had they looked at him a different way, that's fine. If you asked me about him 10 days ago, before all this, I would tell you the exact same thing I'm telling you now. I just feel like people are throwing stuff in there to try to get interviewed and stuff like that. I'm not all about that. I just don't want nobody attacking his family and like making up these false narratives, because it's him. If he did it, he's the problem. Don't go after his mom, his dad, all this stuff when, I just know how nice his mother was. I guess that's why I'm here.
Will you consider reaching out to his mom now?
I mean, she's
not for social media purposes, but for your own purposes.
Probably not. I don't want to she's probably getting bombarded by everybody. So just to add fuel to the fire, I don't want to, I have no reason to, I'm not here for any kind of, purpose. It's just, I just hope that those 4 families get closure and all this gets figured out. 'Cause it's crazy. It's seriously crazy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming up. You are always welcome to come back here anytime. Know that, like, if you ever want to say something, and you know what, anybody saying you haven't tried to promote it's not like the dude's up here like, hey, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe or something like that. He's literally just talking about from his first name, knowing the dude from high school. And I really do appreciate that. I think it's really cool to hear.
Think about how us as strangers are talking to each other and going on these platforms to try to process and understand and make sense of anything. Imagine somebody who knew any of these people, especially the person that you knew in high school becoming the person who potentially did this. I think you got to talk it through. And
yeah, because I'm not just here to give you guys clarity, but you guys have to understand, like, I'm also here for myself. I don't have anybody to talk to about this. This is my way right now of you guys being able to get information and me being able to vent about being in this position and knowing this individual and seeing this heinous act that was committed by this person that you possibly were acquaintances with throughout grade school and high school, so again, it's
Yeah.
very hard to
I'm
wrap my
so
mind
glad
around
that
it.
you
So this kind of
came.
helps.
I bet it is like emotionally jarring, and I'm so glad you came. And like I said, you're always welcome, even just to come hang out and chat, whatever. It doesn't matter, but I know it. Like we talk about true crime here all the time. This case has rocked all of us. Like I can't imagine if I knew the people, because I think it's something that you can't stop thinking about, and you're seeing it everywhere. You're hearing new stuff all the time. It's just, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, like I said, it's everywhere. I can't go on Facebook. I can't go on any social media without it being everywhere. Because you got to understand, most of my friends are from Pleasant Valley, from the area, so everybody is, talking about. But it's everywhere. But when you start talking to the people you went to school with, everybody starts having their own opinion, and then arguments happen and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of gave up on that. So being able to talk to you guys having questions for me, and me being able to kind of just vent about, how he really was back then, how his mother was back then. So you guys can get clarity, and I can kind of get, some kind of, I don't know, comfort with explaining myself. I have no clue.
Yeah,
Good. That is so awesome.
So, but yeah, I'll definitely be here watching you guys. I'm probably going to go now and make my daughter some dinner, but yeah, I hope you guys have a great day.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
You
Chris.
too.
All right. God bless everybody.
You too.
You too. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
You too.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you.
Thanks for having him come up. I was very curious about what he had to say.
Me too. And thank you for messaging me. I wasn't trying to rush it. My computer is dying, but I have my phone in my hand if it cuts off. But yeah, I think that was interesting. I'd love to hear that. And I'm glad you messaged me. Thank you.
And I'm
I
glad
love
that
that show
what he
today.
said about his mom, about what he said about Bryan's mom, like humanizing her, so maybe people will not villainize her quite yet. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, give her a chance. Like, let the woman even wrap her mind around what the hell this is all happening in her world.
Yep, I agree. I think it's nice to hear. And I don't know. I'm hoping and praying, and I don't believe the parents knew anything or had any involvement, but some people were saying the parents hadn't been attacked. I actually have seen people going, did the dad know? Like, things. Yeah, me too. So it's definitely happening.
All right, I'm going to hop down. I know you were planning on hopping off anyway, so I'm going to hop down, but thank you for having me come up. I appreciate it, and I'll be in your chat.
Okay, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
I love
sweetie.
you. Okay.
Love you.
Okay, you guys. So my computer's going to die any second. And let me pull it up on YouTube so I can at least say bye in the chat if it does die. Thank you for being here. And I really appreciate the caller. And thank you, chat. Most of you guys were awesome as usual. It's crazy. And I think we're just getting started. I don't know what we're going to find out, but I'm sure, I don't know. Just like I said in the beginning, make sure you lock your windows, lock your doors, be safe. You never know. This stuff it scared me to death. So yeah, just be safe out there, and I'll continue to come on and we'll keep chatting about it. Chris, thank you for coming up again. Yeah, it was good to hear Teresa too. She had a great live today, you guys. Definitely go check it out. Otherwise, I'll be back soon. I love you all, and I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here to hang out with me. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.